Hey, so my name is Andrew Lampy, and I make music here in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm releasing an album on June 16th, 2023 called ZANY, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the album before I put it out there and, give you some backstory, let you know what it's all about. I'm dressed up right now because I'm going to my high school graduation tonight and got dressed way too early, but it's all good. We're supposed to wear this under the robes. Anyways, though, so Zany is the name of a pottery lizard here that sits on my desk. It's a story that's gone around my family a bit. When I was little, I went with my grandparents to this pottery workshop and I painted that lizard there. And the whole time I was like freaking out over it, crying. When I got it back, they put it through the kiln and I got the final piece back. I'd calmed down and I was wondering why I'd been so upset in the first place. And first of all, it wasn't a big deal at all, and second, it turned out fine, and I still have it here on my desk now. And that's the kind of the original story behind Zany. My grandma always still text me and be like, "How's Zany doing?" But yeah, a couple years back, I started to have trouble with my music. I started working on this track, and I started. It was after years making music, I developed this kind of perfectionist mentality, and I started making this instrumental. And I was in my head like, okay, I'm gonna like just make incredible music from here on out. And after that point, I just didn't like anything I made for a while. Like I couldn't finish making anything. And this instrumental I had, like I kind of deleted a bunch of stuff, couldn't get it to sit right. And then after a while, through some tracks I made, through some process, I was able to get past that and start growing from music, getting even better. Because at that point, I feel like I thought creativity was something that was going to run out, the more I used it. And then I hit that point where I thought it ran out, and then it bounced back. But I was in my head for this period of time, like I couldn't even walk into this room where I make music because it just felt like a gray, empty world. And I like even going about my day at school, I felt like I was going to cry, and I couldn't stop thinking about music and how to get it back. And thankfully, I did. And then like a year later, I dropped my first song. I made a couple more songs, and then I had an idea for a little project, a little EP, which is what has turned into this full album. But it was going to be a 17 Project Chicken Butter, song Hydra, and song Zany. And the song Zany, that is that old instrumental I was talking about that kind of set off that era where felt like I was losing my music. I look back and I was like, oh, that was actually kind of a cool idea I had going there. And I went back to it and I had to piece all the ideas together. It was pretty much all there. I had to go find some sounds that I deleted, find some stuff I deleted, and put it back together, piece it all together. And I got it back and I added lyrics. And the lyrics were kind of tying together those other three songs for the project, and pointing to the future and talking about that place that my mind goes to, my place that my mind went to, and I was writing that instrumental, and when things went wrong with my music, and the place that my mind went to with the original Story of Zany, where it was just clouded and I was freaking out for some reason. And it just seems like it happens on a larger scale in my life at times. And so I wrote that song, added the vocals. And so years later, after freaking out thinking this thing I was doing was terrible, it turned out fine once the dust settled and I calmed down. And then as I was trying to get those those four tracks that were supposed to be on the EP back together, I was trying to get them mixed and mastered, all the post-production. I started writing new songs, and it felt like this story just kept developing and kept going, and I wanted to see where that led, so it turned into me making an album, because I had more songs recorded before I had all the other ones done with all the post-production. But then, it started to tell this story where, I was in that place at the start, and then there was something I thought would help that I found along the way, that I was like telling myself I was going to find this thing, and then when I found it, it just kind of got me more in my head, made me freak out more, and things got worse. And I was like obsessively trying to control everything, control where my life was going, and make everything line up and be perfect. And I was just really like in my head freaking out, and it got bad, and I felt like I couldn't function right. And then after everything went wrong with what I was trying to make work, and what I was trying to force to happen, after everything went wrong and the dust settled, I looked and kind of saw the lessons I learned from that and put that all together. And then I realized it was the story of ZANY all over again on an even larger scale over the course of the year of me making this whole album, with the smaller story in there of the song ZANY, and the even smaller story in there of the lizard ZANY here. And he's green and red, matches the album cover. The album cover is a photo that was taken by my friend Matthew at Forecastle, the Forecastle Music Festival last year. And it was during the Tame Impala concert. I think in the picture I was actually pointing at some dude who was like going crazy dancing. I think he was like tripping on something. But yeah, I mean, that weekend was kind of a point where I was really not sure what was going to happen next. Like, that was just a point in my life where I felt like it was time for something new, and I found out about a job that I started working at, and met another dude who made music, started hanging out with him, found out that he worked at another job with one of my lifelong best friends that I'd kind of, hadn't been around much in a while. So then I reconnected with him through that, and it was kind of just an incredible way that things lined up in an unexpected way. And I feel like that's part of ZANY, and especially the song, that song is all about things lining up in unexpected ways, and just believing that it's going to be okay and working out even when it doesn't seem like it. But yeah, and I could talk more about the album cover and how I feel like it, the song Stage, that name kind of has to do with the stage behind me in the picture, and the stage is red. There's the song Redbird, and the image I'm pointing over to the blue light, it's like bluebird, bluebird. I'll talk more about these specific meanings of these songs and how they connect to the album cover and connect to each other as I release more videos talking about the individual songs. But for now, overall, that album cover it worked out perfect for it. Color scheme matches ZANY as well. So green and red being the main colors here, and then blue as well for the bluebird. But yeah, that's ZANY, and it's coming out on June 16th, 2023. It's 8 songs, so please check it out. Listen through it from start to finish. I'm going to be burning CDs and handing those out, and I'm going to be playing shows. Come out to some of the shows. I'm going to go crazy and have a ton of energy. I promise you that. It's going to be a great time. So check out the album when it drops. Peace out. Also, watching that video back, I feel like I was breathing mad heavy, so I apologize for that.